we'll get you on the air. And
it's so weird with them saying that they're not planning on gating the content, because that leaves you to believe, like, well,
did they say that?
I don't remember hearing that, but apparently they've that's confirmed. So then what the hell are they going to do?
I think that's a terrible idea, because now, like, whatever happens in Heavensward and whatever happens in 2.0, they can't reference that at all, because they have to assume that people haven't done that content, and now each story is going to be its own separate little bubble.
Right. No. I see that. I understand why you would worry, because the Japanese are not exactly the best at subtlety when it comes to making sure that, you know, like the exposition in anime is always the worst. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, this is Final Fantasy.
Spinning punch that spins. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like always unnecessary exposition. I'm not saying I don't know. It's either a translation thing or it's a cultural thing. I'm not sure which it is. Okay, so I'm just, in a general sense, maybe not connecting those storylines. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's not going to be the best thing, because they're going to feel the need to, like, give you a ton of exposition on shit that we already know.
Yeah. Or
do you think
we're gonna walk into a camp and nobody is gonna know who the Warrior of Light is? It's not going to be like Heavens, where it's like, oh my gosh, the Warrior of Light is here. We're all going to be saved. Let's rally around him. It's going to be, oh, well, if you want to come help out the Alamegans, you have to prove your worth, because who are you? You're just scum on my boot, you worm.
Back to bitch work.
This is fucking World of Warcraft. Mark my words, I was right about flying, and I'm going to be right about this.
If they start it from level 1, sure. But they're going to at least require you to go through the first MSQ, because that gets you to 50. So by that point, you are already the Warrior of Light. If, okay, sure, maybe you've only, killed like Ifrit or a few of the primals. But the other thing is if you look at some of their MMOs that are out there, like, for example, the fucking Star Wars one, right? Like, they have the technology to be like, oh, this person did Heavensward. Oh, this person did not do Heavensward, and change a little bit of the text accordingly, right?
Oh, okay, well, that's all they can do, though. All they can do is just give you, like, a small little snippet, like, oh, if this person has cleared Ifrit, then say this. But then they just continue on like it's, like, whatever.
That's so unnecessary, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, but, like, instead of, like, just, like, saying one line and then moving on and pretending like you never said it or whatever, they could, like, build around it like they have been in Heavensward.
Well, how do they get around it entirely? Because that seems like a whole lot of if-then statements that they have to start adding to.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do.
A ton of NPCs.
And they're
they do
not going to do
it in 11. It sucked.
They don't really do it that often in Heavensward, to be honest. Like, they have, like, the only thing I can remember is if you've beaten Estinian as your Dragoon, then they make a reference once, maybe twice, and
so
that's
then
it.
Why would they go all the way out of their way to...
I'm saying that they're not going to.
Yeah. No, okay.
I have no faith in that at all.
I don't think they would either. And I feel like, I just don't know. I feel like from 2.0 to 3.0, since they did Storygate that, like, it's really going to be hard for them in just in a practical fashion to get out of doing that.
Yeah, it would be really hard but the only thing is, as more and more expansions come out, eventually you're going to have to do 5 expansions worth of story to get up to the regular content.
If you're going to do that, you would have to put literally every storyline to bed before 4.0.
Yes.
You'd have to wrap up the Sultana, you'd have to wrap up the Warriors of Darkness, you'd have to wrap up Omega, you'd have to wrap up...
We all know how well Square Enix is about wrapping things up.
Warring Triad, you'd have to wrap... you'd have to have some kind of Garlean lead in.
You'd have to wrap up any storyline that may affect Alameda.
Yeah, you'd no longer be able to have these complex interwoven storylines. It would literally just be one at a time.
And you know what? That, like, sucks, because then it's like, this is the Alamegan storyline, it's self-contained. This is the Ishgard storyline, it's self-contained. It's done. We're never going to come back there, and we're never going to reference it again. Like, that really ruins the whole lore of the world when you do that, because it doesn't feel like it's, like, all the plot lines are, like, interwoven and affecting each other.
Doesn't make it feel as alive.
But what are we going to do 3 more expansions down the line when now you're going to do 6 expansions worth of crap to get to the current storyline? And maybe especially if we do what you want to do, and now you're not even getting leveling out of it. If we have an expansion there where there's no leveling, that's just a storyline they just got to grind through.
Well, they got to have another Calamity, though, wouldn't they?
Well, what would be so wrong with making somebody sit through a storyline to get through,
because a lot of it is grind, a lot of it is filler, and a lot of it sucks. And the only reason you put up with it is because you're leveling on it.
Didn't they cut all of that grindy, fillery crap out in 2.0 when they came out with 3.0? Like, for example, I'm sure when 4.0 comes out, they are going to cut out the majority of the Moogle shit in whatever fucking zone that is.
I guess if you do that, then I'm more okay with it. But if you had to go through all the stories as is, that would suck at some point.
No, you don't even have to do that right now. I have tons of 2.0 side quests that I just never did. And they're just still sitting there, exclamation point above their head. Doesn't fucking matter. If you're just doing MSQ, you actually can move through MSQ fairly fucking quickly.
Yeah.
And I mean, why is it that saying that the requirement of sitting down and putting in, I don't know, say 50 hours worth of work to get to, you're playing a fucking MMO.
And this is a story-driven MMO.
Right, why is that a ridiculous expectation? I understand why reviewers would balk at it.
And you know what? Yes. Square Enix just needs to give them a review copy. Here you go. Here's a character at level whatever, at level 60.
Square Enix needs to give those motherfuckers a middle finger, because
that's what they did this time, and they were up in arms about it, and like
little children. It's story gated, and I can't.
Well,
I don't want to have to do work. This is my job. I get paid to play video games.
Okay, well,
my job is so hard.
If their job is to review Heaven's Ward and they have to play through 2.0, then
suck dicks. You should have probably played A Realm Reborn.
Well, you're not wrong.
I don't give
Where's
a
your
shit.
old account?
Don't give a fuck.
I don't think it would be that hard to find a possible reviewer who already has a vested interest in Final Fantasy XIV, has a character at max
game
level,
reviewing is so hard.
And then they can actually give a really good review, not just based on what it is that they see.
Guys,
hey, I have an idea. You got 3 people right here who could do a review for you, Square Enix in 4.0.
Guys, but playing video games and getting paid for it's so hard. I've got a hard life. It's hard, and Square Enix needs to make it easier for me.
Wait, was that sarcasm?
What fucking babies, man. Game reviewers are such babies.
They have so many games to review.
Oh, it's such a hard life.
There's so many now. Ugh. Have you seen Steam? There's more than 20 now.
Well, shut up and start playing, dumb shit.
I have over 100.
God damn.
Stop hating on
more than
my
a quarter of them
game.
from Ryoku.
It provides so much joy. My penis is confused. Yoshi P has feelings. Head explodes.
Thank you, Thor. See? We get paid to play video games. Whining about it. That's so hard. Let's go back to our